Hi guys, I'm Marco Pastore from Project 7X. I'm here with Matteo De Giorgi. We both made the top 32 at the European Championship with the same exact list. It is branded, as you will see in some seconds. This list was played also by Giacomo Sandri, Simone Rotorato, and we want to make a shout out to Davide Giannocchero, who helped us build this list. Before we start, I'd like to thank our sponsor. It is Card Game Club, Thunder King Games, Steady Good, Collectible Station, and Hunter Games. I don't know if you want to do any shoutouts.
Nobody in particular except for you and all the people from Project 7X that also helped us build the most important part of our deck, which probably is the side deck.
Yeah.
We made a lot of thinking on the Friday before the European Championship.
So let's start with the strategy decision. This is the most innovative part of the list, I think.
Yeah, before going to the actual list, we would like to show you the main part, the main focus of the deck, which is free Cartesia and free duality. Basically, we wanted to make sure that our combo, most of the time, resolved, and the main way to do it, which is Puppet Lock, of course, and the main way to do it is to draw Call by the Grave, which is this one, or duality. Basically, the main part of duality is that it lets you shortcut from card like Guignol directly into Dragoon, which is probably one of the best cards in our decks, in our X deck.
Get some matchup very free.
Yeah, I mean, just being untargetable and indestructible makes some matchup basically free. For example, every Runic deck just struggles looking at this card. You put this on the field and then you're just good to go. And so this is the reason why we played also free Cartesia. And duality also, since we're not playing Prosperity anymore, is important because it lets you recycle cards from the graveyard into the extra deck and then draw one card. And probably is one of the best way to recycle cards like Dragoon itself, Guignol, which we played in second copy, and also Sanctify.
Nostro fratello.
Nostro fratello. And another thing about duality is that outside of Guignol into Dragoon, it also lets you shortcut from Lubellion, the Bestial Lubellion, into Albion, or Lubellion into Albion, or Lubellion Bestial or X-Rec into Furious Dragon. And
so you can dodge more targets effects.
Yeah, against Labyrinth is a very good card because it lets you go straight into Furious or Sanctifier. Labyrinth is another matchup that really struggles with targetable monsters, outside of skill drain of course, but you cannot do anything about that, so anyway. So this is also very important because of these shortcuts.
Yeah.
And that's it.
So this is our main focus. So let's start with the monster lineup, that is Shu Aluber to Quem. We decided for 5 normal summon alongside with Kit, because in testing we saw that a lot of time in the grand game we are searching for the second Aluber or the second Quem, so we thought that the most consistent way to combo off was to give us the option to search both of them in the exact same way. After that we have to make 3 Fallen of Albats. Continuing with the Albats monster, we decided for 1 Merc. Actually, we were picked up with the 2 Merc because we play also other cards from the branded engine that could search us the second Merc. But we found that all the time we went to the second Merc, we would actually win in any case. So the Tragedy, also the Shrouded Dragon, we decided for the Bestial package to go with 1 Lubellion and 1 Saronir. No Magnamut, no other Bestial, because we want to have a good matchup against Kashtira. Also the deck size is pretty big because we are at 43 cards, and we thought that adding more Bestial doesn't actually add quality to our deck. so one Mago Nero, and also one Puppet Lock. I don't actually know why some branded list doesn't play Puppet Lock. It's the stupid win condition of the deck. No ad libitum because it breaks a lot.
I would like to add one thing about Puppet, which is in the mirror match or against Dragon Link, they have beastels in the mains, and probably a lot more decks have beastels in the side decks anyway. And playing Puppet lets you bait, quote unquote, the opponent into banishing Puppet. So it lets your Albion, Titanic Lad, etc., basically the Albion fusion, to resolve because the opponent is doing the bestial on the Puppet. So that's also very important.
Alongside the Tree Duality, we continue with the Spell and Trap lineup.
So of course we are maximizing the starters of the deck, which are free opening, free branded fusion, free deployment, best card going second, one of the best cards going second because it also grabs you Fallen Wildbats. Gold Circ, actually very useful because of course you can banish Tragedy or Merc, and then 2 turns later, which against Runic and in the mirror match actually comes up, the card turns back to your hand, so goes back to your hand. So that's very important.
We decided not to go to Foolish because Foolish is only a normal summon.
Exactly.
Not anymore.
This is basically the 6th copy of Cartesia, alongside with this one. So
7th.
Yeah, 7th actually, because we are also playing High Spirits. Basically, in 43 cards, the chance to open High Spirits in your hand is very low by itself, and most of the time you're just searching it, especially if you already have a dragon in your hand. This card lets you play perfectly against Ash on Branded Fusion, and there are some hands that if you drop Branded Fusion and you just, the opponent does Ash on you, you just scoop. Like you just pass. By grabbing Spirits, you play around that anyway. So.
Yeah. Also, the Branded Fusion standalone gave us access to Branded Errand and Branded Lost. So if we found that if we had Aluber with Branded Fusion, we need another target. Also in this deck, we found with the inaction of Dragoon that the hand size matters more than last format. So cards that keep the hand size capable to discard cards, it's very important.
Yeah, because this card comes back every end phase basically. So alongside Cartesia, you always have something to discard with Dragoon. So you then have to pitch the card that you draw, which is also very important. Of course, one branded in red, one branded lost. Self-explanatory, so we don't have to say anything about that. For the flex spots, we are playing free Super Poly and free Dark No More.
How many times we have changed this setup before? I think like 10 times.
Yeah, we kept going back and forth from Super Poly to Evenly to Allure even and everything else basically. But at last we decided that alongside Dark No More, which is of course the best blowout going second, Super Poly is the second best one.
Yeah, I think it's a very good set choice.
Yeah, it was a good choice because the mirror against Dragon Link, basically against every deck, you always resolve this. You always have a target thanks to.
Also, it's like a robbery against Life Twin Runic.
Yeah.
We both faced like a total of 8 Life Twin Runics, and we haven't lost any game.
Yeah, not a single game.
Sorry.
Yeah. And then lastly, one called by, whatever, free duality. And then the last choice is to retribution.
Shout out to Giacomo Salandri and Davide Giannocolo for this idea because it's very clever.
Yeah, we weren't believing at first for this choice, but in the end we actually changed our mind because you always use the first one in your first turn to add a branded fusion and stuff, like to help you combo basically. But the second one is the one that seals the game because you always set it with the Albion, the one from the extra deck, the branded dragon. And with this setup, you always have access to a second protection against your Sanctifier, which is trying to reborn Puppet.
Yeah. Also, it came up for me to negate the Yugin protection with cards like against cards like Eradicator that you will see in our side deck. And also a lot of my opponents actually read the second effect because not the first effect. Also, this card help you keep the hand sides and the follow up very straightforward.
Yeah, especially important with Dragoon. And in the mirror, the second one is one of the best cards because it lets you grind more.
Yeah, very clutch. So
43 cards in total.
43 cards. For the X deck, we played the Albat Fusion that are one Lubellion. You don't need two. The second one is a waste of space. One Rindrum, one Titaniclad, one Sprint, one Sanctifier.
If I may add something, in Top Cut, someone, no, not in Top Cut, but before Top Cut, someone actually used Contact C on me.
Oh, wow.
So it actually came up.
Yeah, wow, it's also pretty good against Retaliating C, actually.
Yeah.
And but this main point is to have another Albat's fusion to send, to get follow up, to search for kit, and also his actual effect came up.
A couple of times.
A bit of times for me. Chu Albion and Chu del Capitano. One of the best cards in this format is Dragoon. I think that his main point is like go second probably because you create OTKs out of nowhere, and also it helps you against the Dragon matchup, also with something that you will see in the side deck, because you can like this bait regained the strength spotter, him from himself can protect the bestial to came in on the field, so you have already 3,500 points down, and also you have the easy TK, so one of the best cards. After we had the Madragon, very useful against Runic, obviously, is a good target, is the best target of Spoli, even if we don't play Garura, because we took the concession to probably lose the matchup against Sprite Melfi, because you have to lose against somebody, and also it's actually very cool against Kashtira because you can summon it of Branded Fusion, calling Dark and fuse Arizak with Albats.
Not with Branded Fusion, of course, with Lubellion for anyone in chat in the comment section.
Chu Granguignol. Trust us, it kills a lot.
Trust.
also, sometimes he came up with Ice Spirits because if you had a spell cancel, you can send it and convert the card that you sent to the graveyard to another Arbat card. Furious Dragon, another card that a lot of people read this event, and is one of our main win condition against SpellTrap decks, and also our flex spot, this Chimera. We have a lot of
discrepancy about this.
Yeah, because I've never used Chimera. Also, I would never use Keritis. Probably I would have made the Masquerade for how my tournament went out, but I haven't faced Labyrinth, to be honest.
For me, it was the other way around. I didn't miss Keritis, and I used Chimera a lot actually, and especially when you have Lost, which is basically 99% of the time. When you resolve Chimera under Lost, you basically win. And yeah.
One of the best cards. Stapelia, at the contrary, is pretty useful.
Yeah, Stapelia was useless.
Useless, sorry. So now it's time of the side deck. We had a very special side deck because the main point of this is that after sideboard we had for a lot of matchup we had 10 to 15 flex spot. So given the fact that a lot of branded cards are actually bombs, go second, Branded Fusion, Deployment, Albat itself, we were able to transform a very engine based deck to a very deck
blowout deck.
A blowout deck.
So, but the side deck we played Masquerade to joggingly win on time, and we play Albelenatus for the Dragon Link matchup, which was one of the most scary matchup
Also, Masquerade for me came in clutch for the pressure that it gives, but I don't think it could deserve a spot in the main deck. So.
No, I don't think so. And we played 2 Magnamut. I honestly, in hindsight, I didn't like this choice because 2 is too little. Alongside with Saronir, you only have 3 in 43 cards, so the chance to open one in the first 5 cards is not that high. While our deck prefers to take advantage of cards that you can also use after drawing in your 6th card.
Also, a lot of people, I think, that would have think that Branded play a lot of Bestial post side, so we could keep live scars like Trust and the Talents. I don't like it against Dragons and other matchups like this.
Then we played Shadow Dragon, which alongside Chimera and Furious is
one of the best card of my side deck.
Yeah, the best card inside deck. Yeah, I agree. Because you can also like you always send it with the Branded Fusion. Going second, you destroy something. You can even destroy Skill Drain after free clean. So that's very important.
Also, can out the I don't know the name, the Grave Floodgate.
The
Ancient Organism.
Yeah, the Ancient Organism. Interesting fact about Shadow Dragon, it also triggers off opening and Ice Spirits.
Yes, actually.
Because they discard off cost. And another thing that I want to add is that with Sanctifier, you can summon it in your field, and with Cartesia, you can fusion with it into Guignol, or anything else basically. And it triggers again because you use it as fusion material. So it actually came to me once. Then we played Lancia for the Flanders matchup.
Yeah, the popularity of Flounder arise like
out of nowhere.
Yeah, 10 to 14 days before the event. So we want a searchable way to deal with the matchup because it's not so favorable. And our strategy is that with Cartesia plus Brafo, you can loop the Lancia with Sanctifier, and they cannot win anymore.
You send it off Random Fusion and
Shifter.
Well, you cannot do anything about that anyway. So we played 2 Trust. See, one of the Magnamuts for me would have probably been the 3rd Trust. I really like this card. I never saw it going first every time I set it in, but going second, I saw it a lot, especially thanks to the draw of Shrouded and Duality. This card is crazy going second. You can add the deployment, which is not searchable. You can add Branded Fusion, of course, so that card is crazy. Yeah,
also, if I would be back in time, I would play this another copy of this instead of Magnamut, and probably another copy of Evenly Matched WCQ.
Yeah, we indeed playing Evenly Matched.
Yeah,
one of the strongest breakboard outside of Dark Rune No More, and for this deck Super Poly. So
yeah, we sided this monster against Kashtira because you can bait their stuff, and after they bait a Rizard, and after you go Trust into Evenly, and they cannot do anything, so you blow out the entire field, and after it's pretty easy to break it.
For the branded against Kashtira matchup is especially important because you clear out also the spells.
Yeah.
Like the Birth is crazy against this deck, so they'll always keep a Rizard, of course. So this card is very important.
Yeah.
And then Duster. I mean, you saw what happened in the finals, so we don't need to explain this card. And then we played 2 targets for going first with Trust, and this is probably the reason why we both would have liked to play 3. We played both the Ruma and Eradicator. These cards are crazy. You basically side in every time Eradicator against every single deck, except Kashtira and Vanquish.
Also Towers deck.
And Towers deck, yeah. Because basically this card says, maybe we should explain it for some people who don't know. This card says that every monster on the field gets booked, but every monster that is not booked, the controller of the monster has to send it to the graveyard. So it doesn't. The second part of the effect, it doesn't influence the monsters; it influences the player. So, for example, if the opponent summons the Igniser Rival or Noir with 5 or more material, which are both immune to card effects, the opponent actually has to send it to the graveyard because it didn't get hooked.
Yeah.
And then we played Free Eclipse. This card was crazy because I mean, going first, you cut out Dark No More on the side of the cards, and then you can put this in. Or going second, even better, because a lot like both Kashtira and Sprite Nelfi were really scary matchup because they use Ibli.
Yeah.
And you don't have an out to Ibli except like tribute summoning with the Bestial, which actually came up to me and won me the game. And also you have Book of Eclipse, so you book everything and then you can play.
Yeah, I think that was a very good choice. Also, it baits Ash, so it
Yeah.
has a secondary effect. So the only thing that would have changed in the side deck would have been the two Magamuts for probably the third Trust and the second Heavily, but we would have checked for the side patterns.
Yeah.
Also, I would have liked Kurikara against Kashtira, but it's we found out that in this format it's a very narrow card, so it's good only against Kashtira, given the fact that the deck is branded.
Yeah, I mean the deck is already good against Kashtira.
Yeah.
The only problem in that matchup is Shifter, but if they draw it,
yeah, and the floodgate post side, this is a big problem. So this is for the list. We are obviously very happy for the result. I think that's the most important thing in this result was our preparation, because we tested out all the matchups. I don't think in now that's branded would have been the perfect meta call, but we were very confident with this deck. Also, we found out that people are not prepared against this deck, also are incorrectly prepared against this deck. And so we make other people's choice not so consistent, like Ash. I've never lost a game against Ash. Probably only one in the top 32, but because I messed up with the combo.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people play branded without puppets, so they send stuff like Adlicton and company. But the real card that lets you win the game is this one. And if you don't resolve puppet for some reason, whatever details or something, you still have a lot of interactions. So there is literally no reason to go into this card.
Yeah. So another time, thank to Matteo for testing with me, and also thank to the Project 7X for the circle of testing and information. And we hope to get more results. I don't know if you have some final words.
Yeah, it was crazy going to the first European Championship and topping for both of us, because it was for both of us the first time. And I really had a great time. And I also thank you and all the guys from Project 7X, which also I had a good time with, of course.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.